On today's episode of the DuckZone503 Podcast, I'm joined by a super special guest today, and we're going to be previewing and predicting this Week 11 matchup of USC at number 6, Oregon. We'll also be giving our 3 keys of the game and finally our final score prediction. I'm your host, Dominiqk Peterson. This is the DuckZone503 Podcast, where we talk all things Oregon football. Let's get into it, people.
Welcome to the DuckZone503 Podcast. Talking all things Oregon football. With your host, Dominiqk Peterson. Let's go.
Welcome into today's edition of the DuckZone503 Podcast. The date is Thursday, November 9th, 2023, and I am happy to be with you, people. I'm joined by the one and only USC J32. How we feeling, man?
Dominique, man, it's go time, man. We almost there. It's Saturday, my man. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, man, I'm doing great. Very blessed to have you on the show, man. I've been checking you guys out. Hey, if you guys want to tune into everything USC, you know they're joining us in the Big Ten next year. Lock into my guy, USC J32, right now, man. We're going to be previewing and predicting Trojans versus Ducks. USC coming off a very competitive football game against Washington. They lost that one 52-42 at home. It was back and forth till the very end. Obviously, breaking news all around the college football world. But if you missed it, it was announced that USC has officially let go of their defensive coordinator, Alex Grinch. So they will be without him for this game. USC is currently 7-3 overall, 5-2 in conference play. Oregon is coming off a dominant 63-19 win over the Cal Bears at home, where the Ducks have won 29 out of their last 30. The Ducks come into this matchup 8-1 overall, 5-1 in conference play with one loss to Washington. Oregon is currently a 14.5-point favorite the last time I checked. I'm not sure if that line's changed if you checked it out. These two teams have not played each other since 2020. The last time was in that so-called Pac-12 title game. I don't really like to claim that one in that so-called COVID year. Oregon won that game 31-24. These two teams have not played each other in Autzen Stadium since 2015, where Oregon won that game 48-28. 7:30 kickoff game under the lights. Wear black, people. It's a blackout game in Autzen Stadium. So before we start, where can we find your work? I always like to bring our guest on, and where's everywhere we can find your work before we start this podcast.
Hey, once again, I appreciate you having me, Dominique. You can find me on YouTube at USC J, just USC J, the letters spelled out on YouTube, and then on Twitter and Instagram, both of those platforms, you can find me at USCJ32.
Bam, there you guys go. Make sure to go hit that follow button. All things USC locked in. He's keeping you locked in all year long for USC. Make sure you subscribe to the DuckZone503 Podcast as well. I'm trying to give you guys 2 podcasts a week, recruit interviews, and everything Oregon football. Latest updates also on our social media accounts at DuckZone503 right there. We're going to be talking all things Pac-12 ball as well through the end of the season. And once this year's up, we know what's going on. We're going to the Big Ten along with the Trojans as well. We're sitting at 988 subscribers, trying to get to 1,000. Get us there. Tell everyone, your friends,
get those likes
family.
up, get those subscribes up, man. Get Dominique up there.
Let's do it, man. Let's get it. We're almost there to our goal. 12 followers, man. Let's get it. All right, man. Let's stick to the topic at hand. Main thing coming into this, the main headline is Alex Grinch. Coming from someone who follows the Trojan closely, what were some of the main things that really frustrated this USC fan base? What were some of the main areas of this defense that need to be improved? I got this graphic up here for the people listening on podcasts. This USC defense is 119th in yards per game, 113th in yards per play, 121st in points per game, and tied for 129th in touchdowns allowed. Guys, it's about 133 FBS college football teams. So obviously this isn't great. What this got to be frustrating for you. What have you seen from this defense? What do you think needs to be changed?
Wow, it's a loaded question, Dominique. I mean, it starts with really last year, man. We kind of gave him the opportunity. Coaching staff gave him the opportunity to really try to get this thing rolling. And I've always said, I was always one of those that said, let this man get his full recruiting class in and just get the guys, because I never felt like we had a Caleb Williams on defense like we had on offense last year. So give him another opportunity. Well, that opportunity came, Dominique, and, it seemed like we regressed, man, instead of making progress. And as a result, man, you got the numbers up there. I mean, 436, man. I mean, ranking 119. I mean, USC, you talk about multiple Hall of Fame guys that came out of USC, man, defensive guys, linebackers, cornerbacks, whatever, man, and to have us playing the way we play now. I don't think I've ever actually seen it on this level, man, where it's just, it seems like no resistance. And I think most of the problem is coming from big explosive plays coming up the middle, man. I mean, whether it's, like the run plays, the slap. You've seen the Washington running back a guy that never really had an explosive game like that, and the guy rushes for 200 and some yards. So it's, I think, it's the scheme, though. It's all about the scheme. And kind of talk to you about that in the back. And so as a result, man, we're seeing a lot of players looking completely out of place with the scheme. Now, as you alluded to, Alex Grinch has been fired. And apparently it may be a slight difference this week. I don't know how much you can actually change. You could put some basic stuff in there, maybe a 4-3, maybe a base type defense. But I think that we will see somewhat of a change, but just hopefully enough just to, hold off the Bucky Irvin and Bo Nix, man.
100%. You guys got Alex Grinch out. That's step one in the right direction for you guys. So, by now, who steps in and takes the reins there, for Alex Grinch? How much confidence do you have in whoever steps in to lead this Trojan defense for the remainder of the season? Who's kind of stepping up and calling the plays now?
Well, you got two coaches. Both of them were already on staff. You got Sean Nua, who's the defensive line coach. He has a pretty good track record coming from Michigan. As you know, he coached some guys up like Aiden Hutchinson and those two guys. The first and second round that he coached those guys up, ended up coming to USC. Now our defensive line coach, he's taking over on an intern basis, so he's going to be the coach. And then you got Brian Odom, who's actually he actually coached when Lincoln Riley left. Coached Oklahoma. I was getting ready to say USC. Coached Oklahoma in the Alamo Bowl against Oregon. That was 2021, right? They won that game, I believe. So yeah, that was 2021. Yeah. So he was he's the intern coach when Lincoln Riley left. So he has somewhat of experience, and hopefully that translates well to what we get ready to do this weekend in Eugene.
100%. Oregon and USC, this, we're constantly in heavy recruiting battles. Feels like USC's landing a big time recruit over Oregon. Then the next week, Oregon's landed one over USC. It's been back and forth for some of the best of the nation's recruits. With the firing of Alex Grinch, what do you kind of expect from USC's recruiting? Have you seen any decommitments from the firing of Alex Grinch, or do you kind of expect a positive reaction in USC recruiting with the firing of Alex Grinch? What's your take on that?
I expect a positive, man, and one of the things I was kind of somewhat communicating with Dakota Fields, who you guys left, and he made comments when he left, when he decommitted from us, that it was the coaching staff. So he wanted to be home, he wanted to stay at USC, but the Alex Grinch thing, I think it was too much for him. But I have seen positive. We just got a commitment today, a big time safety. And he's in that class with Julian Lewis, who's the number one quarterback in the country, 2026 prospect. So right now we hold the number one class in the 2026. I know that sounds far away, but both of those guys could end up reclassifying. But it's been some positives. I haven't seen any decommitments as of late. And, let's keep our fingers crossed, and provided that we hire the right guy on the defensive side of the ball.
100%. And, there's been some chatter out there on social media. I'm sure you've seen it, that some say it's a better idea if Caleb Williams sits out the rest of the season and stay healthy, gets ready for the NFL, because you guys have 3 total losses, kind of out of college football playoff contention, one of the goals you guys had set for the season. But I seem to think, with only 2 conference losses, it's a stretch. But if you beat Oregon here, you still got everything in front of you to win the conference title. So kind of what's your take on the whole? Yeah, what's your take on the whole Caleb should sit out, and how would you gauge this team's confidence going in to win this football game?
First of all, we don't have Caleb. You might as well. I might not even turn the game on. I mean, you might as well forget it, because Caleb is everything. He's USC, so I'm confident he's going to play. Somebody just texted me they at the basketball game tonight. By the way, USC basketball, boys and girls, both representing, but he was at the game with a bunch of the players. I'm confident that he's going to play. From a competitive standpoint, like as you alluded to, USC still, it's Washington first in the conference. Oregon second, and then USC. If you say, just like you said, if we beat Oregon, I mean, we right back in business, man. So I think from that perspective, you're talking about a Rose Bowl berth. I mean, you already know we from the West Coast, man. If the Rose Bowl is for us, it's not the playoffs, but it's a dream. I mean, that's where you ultimately first, and then of course the playoff is second. So right now, I mean, believe it or not, I mean, we could still shoot for the Rose Bowl, man. So I think a lot of guys, from what I'm hearing, I communicate with some of the guys on the team. From right now, what I'm hearing is some of the guys are still fired up, man. They're gonna be locked and loaded. They're gonna take this game serious, man. And we got something to play for. I think also, man, Caleb, he always makes reference to these are his brothers, man. So I think he doesn't want to let his brothers down, man. So I think we're gonna kind of see him kind of move and groove in that direction as well.
100%. Yeah, man. I heard chatter around, kind of the Oregon fan base. It's like, oh yeah, Caleb should just shut it down. Or they're like, oh, USC's got 3 losses now. I don't know. They're going to be motivated. We're going to crush it. I'm just like, man, look, these guys, this is like their Super Bowl right here. This is make it or break it. Their coach just got fired. They want to have a good showing somewhere, and hang their hat somewhere in this season. And this is their opportunity. So 100%. I agree,
shout
man.
out to Solomon Bird's mom. He's number 51. He'd be the edge rusher. I see she's in the chat. I sent her.
Oh yeah.
But he'd be number 51. He's actually leading the country this year, man. But shout out to her. She came over. Hey, I appreciate you. Fight on.
Hey, thanks for coming in. Appreciate you. Hey, when 2 really good teams come to meet in, you want to make sure, teams are healthy. You want to get the best of the best against the best. As far as Oregon goes, really, we got one significant injury. We come in pretty healthy. We got our running back 2, Noah Whittington, that entered this year behind Bucky. He was a good 1-2 punch behind Bucky. He got injured in that Colorado game, so he's out for the year. We're not going to have him. But sophomore running back Jordan James has definitely stepped in and been a nice backup, carrying the load behind Bucky Irving to pick up Noah Whittington's slack. How healthy are the Trojans coming to this matchup? I know Lloyd, your guys' running back, didn't play last game. Have you heard any rumblings of him returning? And, how healthy overall are the Trojans coming in?
I think Lloyd, it was kind of suspect. I mean, he caught everybody off guard, because Lincoln Riley, he's kind of like your coach. They kind of keep everything kind of secret into the game. And so to see him walk out there with the jersey on this past weekend, it was kind of surprising. But we had a bunch of guys step up. However, it does appear that he's recovering somewhat. I see that he was at practice on Wednesday, did an interview. So it looks like it may be like a 50-50 thing with Lloyd. As to, we got a couple of cornerbacks, Jacoby Covington. He was out. It looks like he may be coming back in. He was a transfer from Washington. And then we have another one, Max Williams, one of the starting safeties. It looks like he may be coming back. So for the most part, we're healthy, but we got a couple of guys that are out, and hopefully they return soon this weekend.
All right, cool. Yeah, 100%. It sounds like both teams are fairly healthy going in this matchup. It's great. All right, so we talked a lot about your defense, a lot about what's going pretty bad about your guys' season, but your guys' offense has been absolutely electric. Let's talk about it. Caleb Williams, the former Heisman Trophy winner. We all know how special he is. He's coming in compared to Patrick Mahomes. Looks to be a top draft pick around in this spring. The Trojans come into this game as one of the most explosive offenses in the conference. This will definitely be the Ducks' most explosive offense they've seen all season. Talk about maybe some of these wide receivers that Caleb will be throwing to, how dangerous they are, and the guys around him that makes this team and offense so special.
Man, what's crazy is we got a guy that transferred from Arizona named Dorian Singer. And, we thought he was going to be like one of the number 1 guys, but we have so much talent at the receiver corps, man. So you got Dorian Singer, you got a guy by the name of Taj Washington from the state of Texas, man. And we even got freshman Deuce Robinson. We got another guy by the name of Michael Jackson. I forgot to mention him. He may be coming back this game as well. But then you got the number 1 playmaker, man, Zach Branch. He's a dynamic freshman. Everybody in the country, one of them, but he's a kick returner / punt returner, and he plays receiver as well. So Kyron Ware-Hudson, look, the offensive side of the ball, man, that's not where we're lacking at all. We're putting up big time points right now. And Caleb, as you alluded to, man, he has 2,958 yards. And Bo Nix is up there too, 2,723 yards. So, the offensive side of the ball, I think we're going to be very explosive. Multiple receivers, man, multiple. And they just kind of rotate them in and out.
Oh yeah, man. Talk about the quarterback matchup in this is going to be awesome. You got the former Heisman winner, you got a dark horse Heisman contender, Bo Nix, putting up crazy numbers, close to 80% completion rating for Bo Nix. You got, Caleb Williams doing what he does, close to 40 touchdowns on the season. This is going to be awesome. Just quarterback off both offenses. This is the makings of it. You guys just had a shootout with Washington last week, and that was fun to watch. So I'm glad. I'm going to be there, by the way.
You watched that game pretty good, close?
Oh yeah. That was awesome, man. That was a great game going back and forth. Yeah. You guys definitely had a chance going into that fourth, man. It was all a toss-up game.
It was us. But we beat ourselves.
Yeah, 100%. That's how I felt when we played Washington.
I watched that game. I mean, the coach, I mean, you guys could have easily won that game, man.
100%. So for Bo Nix, let's say, he goes down or something. We got Ty Thompson, former 5-star. He's obviously not the same as Bo Nix, but, he's definitely looking better and progressing. Our boy Matthew Maximus here wants to know who's behind Caleb in case, let's just say something wild happen. Caleb goes down. Who's behind Caleb in those quarterback spot? How confident are you in the backup quarterback position?
Man, we got 4-star Miller Moss. He's been there for a couple of years. And I think he's going to be the immediate backup. And then we got a guy by the name of Malachi Nelson as well. He was the top 5 quarterback coming out this past season in the 2023 class. So we got some solid guys, man. And then we got Jake Jensen as well. Transfer from BYU. He transferred from BYU. So we're pretty solid, man, as far as the backups will go.
The USC run game isn't really the main vocal point of this Trojan offense, obviously because Caleb Williams, but it could definitely be a real nice 1-2 punch. I've been kind of hearing what your take on this run offense, and you think the Trojan offense should definitely run the ball a little bit more.
Oh, man.
Talk about these running backs that the Trojans got in the disposal for this game.
Wow, man, we got, of course, Marshawn Lloyd. He's leading the country right now, I believe, in yards per carry. Very explosive guy, man. I mean, you're talking about a guy that could actually be a Doak Walker Award winner if we just consider, constantly stay consistent and give him the ball. We got him. Of course, he was out last week. So we had a guy by the name of Austin Jones. He was a transfer that came from Stanford. I mean, he went crazy. And then you got another guy by the name of Darwin Barlow, transfer from TCU. He went crazy. And then we got a couple of freshmen, man, that are very, very strong. Dominiqk Peterson and Quentin Joyner, man, 2 true freshmen from Texas. So we're like 5 deep as far as the backfield is concerned.
Yeah, Lloyd is, man, he's a really good back. I think you guys definitely, I agree with you. You guys got to get that ball to him a little bit more than you guys have. When you guys got that run game going, it makes that Caleb Williams that much more dangerous, in my opinion. So I definitely agree with you there. I definitely think that one of the main matchups in this game to watch is USC's offensive line versus Oregon's defensive front. The Ducks D line has been absolutely nasty this year. They rank number 13 in the country at getting after the quarterback with 28 sacks so far in the year. Meanwhile, the USC O line has given up 26 sacks this year. That's good for number 96 in the country. Who are some of the offensive linemen on this USC front that will be protecting Caleb Williams, and how do you personally feel that you think they'll match up against this Oregon front seven?
I think they'll match up good, man. We had issues, especially in the Notre Dame game. That's what Caleb had some issues at, that the protection wasn't there. However, they slightly changed some things and kind of spreaded those guys out, and we've kind of had success. We were okay as far as against Cal. We were okay last week against Washington. And you see in the Utah game as well, we were able to score, and we were able to be effective and run the ball. So you got Jonah Meinheim, you got Jared Kingston transfer from Washington State, and then you got Manuel Pregnaw. He's another one. He's playing guard. Transfer from Wyoming. So I think we're gonna be okay there, man. Jared Kingston as well. Did I mention Jared Kingston? But I think we're gonna be okay. We just had, I think Lincoln Riley kind of alluded to it. It just took them a while, man. Longer than what they originally thought it would take to have these guys blend together. It's a unit that has to flow together, man, and be kind of go in unison. So I think we're gonna be okay.
100%. Yeah, the Ducks last year, I know we didn't play last year, but that was a real weak point for this Ducks defense, was up front. We're kind of relying on Brandon Dorless, DJ Johnson all year. We didn't really have the depth. Well, Lanning brought in, I think, 7 total defensive linemen in, and a total of 10 offensive linemen and defensive linemen in. in this last class. So he's really built it up. Tatum Toyota, he's the defensive line coach, his son. So he's a coach's son. He comes in as a freshman. He knows exactly what he's doing in year one. You got Mateo Ugiagle, the 5-star coming. USC was definitely in it for him coming in here. He's definitely made a difference.
Is he starting?
He started a few games, but lately he's just been in the rotation. He's just kind of been in the rotation, but he's definitely been making an impact year one. And then Brandon Dorless, obviously everybody knows about him. Jordan Birch, former 5-star at South Carolina.
Him and Marshawn Lloyd played together at South Carolina.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, man, and the front seven for Oregon, I think the big thing that has been upgraded, the reason why we've been able to get sacks. I think last year we finished with 16 sacks total. The defense has got 28 now at this point in the season. So the defense is definitely up front has improved. So that's something I'm looking for this game. How can we disrupt Caleb Williams? I think that's something Notre Dame really did really well, as you mentioned. That's something that Oregon has been doing really well all season with opponents they played, even that Washington. I think Caleb Williams, it's going to be hard to get sacks on him and bring him down. We all know how special he is at getting away, but it's just going to be a real good matchup to watch. Really, really good. As far as the USC defense goes, we've obviously highlighted the woes of the defense, but let's not forget this Trojan defense got some dudes on this team. They just need the right coach. USC J, break it down. This USC front seven. Let's talk about just specifically the front seven led by Big Bear Alexander. Who's up there with them?
Man, you got, as you alluded to, you got Bear Alexander, man, came from Georgia. I just mentioned Miss Bird, her son, Solomon Bird. He's on there, number 51. He transferred from Wyoming last year. And we got a guy by the name of Jamil Muhammad. He's on the other side of her son. He's playing rush in, coming from Georgia State. And then you got another guy by the name of Keon Bars, who sits in the middle. He transferred from Arizona. He was highly sought out there as well. And we got Texas A&M transfer Anthony Lucas when they put him in. And I think this is kind of goes back to the Alex Grinch thing, man. This was one of the most puzzling things because we get all these guys out of the portal, and he likes smaller defensive guys. And so he's only playing certain guys at certain times. And I guess that was the most puzzling thing, man. But you got another guy by the name of Jack Sullivan, came from Purdue. He's a defensive tackle, defensive end as well. So we have the guys up front. Now, I'm curious to see, and I mentioned that, alluded to that, we could possibly do some changing this week. I wouldn't be surprised if you see Bear Alexander, that big 300-pound body, Keon Bars, that big 300-pound body, those two guys right there, instead of just having a small 260-pound defensive tackle right next to each other. So I think those are going to be the guys. And, of course, you got one of the guys here, linebacker-wise, Mason Cobb. He transferred from Oklahoma State, and I think he'd be up in the middle along with the other transfer from Arizona State, Eric Gentry. I think those two guys might be the starting linebackers coming into this game. We'll see Rajon Davis, Tackett Curtis, those guys coming there, and the Alabama transfer, Shane Lee, as well.
Great breakdown. We have another listener question here from Matthew Maximus. He says, Autzen Stadium is going to be a new experience for the team. How do you think they'll handle the obnoxiously loud crowd in the cold? It is a night game, but USC has not been here since 2015. Kind of a good question here. How do you think this team's going to respond to this loud environment in Autzen Stadium?
Man, it's going to be rough, man. I mean, I know about it, and the only thing I could kind of compare it to is maybe Utah Stadium, right? Is it Rice Eccles? That's the only Rice thing Eccles. I could kind of compare it to, man, as far as being cold, being extremely loud, and being just a hostile environment. I think they kind of, and they play physical style football. It was we played there last year. Of course, it was a shootout, 42-41. They ended up winning 2-point conversion. So I think some of the guys on the team currently had that experience with being in that environment, but not all of them. But I think we'll adapt well. We'll have to adapt well. But depending on how that goes, man, I think, hopefully we'll have some success. But I know that will be an issue, man. I know what's the temperature like right now? Like 48?
Right now, let me check. Right now, 43 degrees where I'm at.
That's crazy.
43 degrees. Man. Yeah, it's cold outside. So I got this big heater right here. That's nice.
Yeah. Hey, well, welcome to the Big Ten.
Oh, yeah. When we get out there, we're going to be shivering in the stands, man. All right. So, we'd all know Bo Nix, He's a dark horse Heisman contender this year. He's definitely in the conversation. He's been consistent all year, nearly 80% completion percentage. Who are some guys in this Trojan secondary that you think are going to need to step up in this game? And what do you think this defense is going to need to do to slow down this hot Oregon offense that they rank number 2 overall in the country in total offense?
In the secondary, we got a transfer. I'm not sure if you're familiar when he transferred from Arizona, Christian Roland Wallace. I'm very high on him, man. He's had a lot of success. He's been one of the most stable guys as far as the cornerbacks for us. Love him. And then I think on the other side is going to be a 5-star guy by the name of Dominiqk Jackson out of Los Angeles area. And then you're going to have a safety by the name of Caleb Bullock. He's one of the best safeties in the country. And I'm not sure who's going to be the other guy over there. We got Zion Branch. I failed to mention him as well. He ended up getting hurt. He was coming in at safety and playing. And Max Williams, I don't know, he's maybe 50-50. So they may have a guy by the name of Bryson Shaw playing next to Caleb Bullock in the secondary.
100%. And then, do you think they're going to be doing anything different schematically, or do you? I think you kind of touched this already, but do you think it's really going to be the same?
No,
with these guys,
it's not the same, man. I think the scheme is going to slightly change from what I heard. It's only so much you can do. We only got 2 games left, so okay. I think they're just going to make minor adjustments. What we don't want to see is guys, what Alex Grinch was doing, guys looking at their wristband between every play. That was causing these guys to think way too much and just having them to where they lost in what I say on my show, lost in the sauce, man. But
yeah,
I think it's going to be somewhat, yeah, I think it's going to be somewhat of a change, man. But a basic change, simplify it.
Yeah, man. That lost in the sauce phrase. Hey, that merch too. On fire, guys. Hey, USC merch, USCJ merch store, man. Go tap in. It's very fire. Very fire. Lost in the sauce, man. 100%. Okay, this is another good question. Matthew Maximus, USCJ. Do you think that maybe Riley isn't the fit? Kind of started to see him kind of like Mario Cristobal. Good coach, great recruiter, but held his coordinator back, in my opinion.
I actually like Mario Cristobal when he was at Oregon. He had him rolling, man. Had him recruiting rolling. Didn't they go down there and beat Ohio State? You guys beat Ohio State?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mario Cristobal.
But I'll say this, let me just, how should I say it? The jury's still out, man. It's still early. I think for a head coach, you gotta, we're getting ready to see. He made one of the biggest moves that he's never had to make before in his career, because he's had Alex Grinch pretty much all the way. So I think now we're getting ready to see the rubber is essentially getting ready to hit the road. So the thing is, once he hired his new defensive coordinator and we see what happens with that, I think, and we see how those things blend together, and we see, if the talent is being dispersed the correct way, then we can kind of make a proper assessment, man, and say, look, is this the guy or not? But right now, I think it's kind of too early to tell. That's just my opinion. But the fan base right now, man, this USC, man, hey, they ready to get it going, man, now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, definitely win now mode with USC fan base. This was honestly when Grinch got fired, because Grinch he led some good defenses at Washington State while he was over there. He did. It definitely worked. So it was interesting, when he came in Oklahoma, it didn't really work. And then you come to USC and it doesn't work. So I think you're right, man. I think this is where the truth comes to light. And, you're going to see in this third defensive coordinator, if it's a bad defense again, who do you point the finger to at that point?
Yeah.
100%. So this is going to be a big game, guys. I know if you're all tuning in, we love to watch sports. But if you guys want to watch sports and make some money, check out Mojo Fantasy. It's a crazy new app that turns sportsbook odds and selections into fantasy contests. Here's how it works, guys. There are thousands of NFL and MLB player props. You build a portfolio, and the better your portfolio performs, the more cash you win. Pick as many props as you want and try to beat the crowd. It's a whole new way to play fantasy. The props act like stocks, so you can buy and sell live all game long. It's the only fantasy app that lets you make moves after the game starts, so you're not stuck with a bad pick. You can cash in on a hot start or just hang on and let them ride. Cash contests are based on real sportsbook odds. Get the same live player prop selection odds and cash outs as Mojo's New Jersey Sportsbook. You can trade You could trade sports like stocks. You control the action, ride your picks, cash out, or enter new positions instantly. And there's no house advantage. This is one of my favorite things about this when I play it. You can beat the crowd by building the biggest portfolio and climb the leaderboard and win cash prizes. That's it, guys. Make picks, make moves, make money. Download now on the Apple App Store and use my code DuckZone for a 100% deposit match up to $100 for your first time deposit. Link in the description for more if you guys want to do that. All right, USCJ, it's time. Let's give our 3 keys of the game. What does USC have to do to win this game in Autzen Stadium? And I want to give a couple fun facts before you give them. USC has not won in Autzen Stadium in 12 years. Last win was in 2011. USC won 38-35. Alejandro Maldonado missed that kick. Oregon fans, I hate to bring that up. I hate to relive that memory. USC, it was a blackout during that game in 2011 at night.
Matt Barkley, man.
Matt Barkley. And Oregon was on a roll. They were the higher-ranked team.
Number 4.
I'm just saying. Exactly. And here we go again.
I feel those vibes right now, man. I'm just letting you know that. I feel that 2011 vibe.
Oh, man. All right, here we go. So there's your 3 keys, man. What does USC got to do?
Hey, you see it there, man. We're going to limit Bucky Irving, man, to those explosive plays. And, he is so explosive, man. Once he gets to that second level, you're not stopping him. So we got to keep Bucky Irving, man, contain him, man. And I think if we do that, I think that's half the battle. I know you got another running back, but Bucky is a little bit different, in my opinion. The number 2 thing is make Bo Nix uncomfortable, man. I believe if we could just kind of make him a little uncomfortable, make him think while he's on the run, I think that could kind of disrupt his throws and disrupt his ability to think within the throws. So that's the second one. And then number 3 is we gotta score 40 points the same way we did with Washington, 40 and above. I don't think there's no way we can get out of this game with not scoring 40 points, man.
All right, so USCJ's got limit Bucky Irving's explosive plays, make Bo Nix uncomfortable in the pocket. USC score at least 40 points. What's up? Brandon Jones in the building saying, what's up? Fight on,
man. Fight on.
Let's go, Ducks. All right, man. So what does Oregon got to do to win this game? Here's my 3 keys to the game. I got number 1, limit explosive plays. Look, USC comes into this game with arguably the best quarterback in the nation with Caleb Williams. He's the best at evading the rush and using his feet while also finding his receivers downfield for big plays. The Trojans lead the conference in explosive plays. This will be huge key for the defense. And the number 2, I got contained Caleb Williams, 250 yards or less. If you want to win this game, you have to make sure you contain Caleb Williams. You obviously won't be able to stop a talent like that, but containing will definitely be a key. I think, Notre Dame held him to 199 yards passing in that game. Arizona held him to 219 yards passing. Utah was able to hold him to 256. I like that 250 number for this Oregon defense at home. And then number 3, I got control the clock / tempo with the run game. USC is giving up a whopping 186 rushing yards per game. A huge key to keeping elite quarterbacks on the sideline is running that football. Unfortunately for Trojan fans, the Ducks enter this game as the number 1 rushing team in the Pac-12. They average 209.2 yards per contest. I think Bucky Irving and Jordan James are both in for big days. So that's my 3 keys, guys. I got limit explosive plays, contain Caleb Williams for 250 yards or less, or control the clock and tempo with this run game. All right, USCJ, let's give our final score predictions. What do you think is going to happen in this game, man?
That's me, man. You see it right there. I think it's going to be a game that's very similar to the Washington game. I think it's going to be some back and forth. And as I stated before, man, if we could just control Bucky Irving and we get above that 40 mark, I think that I don't go against my guys, man. I don't go against them. I think it's going to be a 45-42 game. I believe that Caleb is going to play some very, very sound football. He's going to play some focused football. The whole team, I think, is absolutely upset. We're looking to come and spoil everything that Oregon is attempting to do right now.
All right. I like it. I love the confidence, man. That's what you got to have, man.
Hey, we want to play spoiler, man. We can't make the playoffs, but look, we do have an opportunity to make a Rose Bowl, man. And if anything, man, let's try to shoot for the Rose Bowl. It's a difficult task. It's very difficult, but we got to lock in and stay focused.
All right, guys, you see it there. USCJ calling the upset now, 45-42. All right, what do I got, man? Big time game, USC, Oregon. This has been, the one on the schedule that all the season ticket holders were circling. This is the game, and we got it, guys. I think Oregon, man, I think these two programs are just trending in two opposite directions in the moment at this time. I get it. There's a breath of fresh air without Alex Grinch. He's out the door for USC, but I really don't think that changes much in this week, to be honest. I think, Oregon, it's facts. They've won 29 out of the last 30 games at home. The Ducks seem like they're really playing their best football at this point in time. USC has not stopped anyone defensively all season, and now they will be playing, one of the best offenses and defenses, one of the most balanced teams they've seen all season under lights in a sold-out Autzen Stadium. I got Oregon 55-24 in this one. I got, Bo Nix, Bucky Irving, and Jordan James. I got them that rushing attack going off. I think USC is in it for a disaster Saturday night. I got the Ducks big in this one, 55-24. Very excited for this game. I can't wait. I'll be there. So if you guys see me in the crowd, say what's up at Autzen Stadium. I always love seeing you guys who watch the podcast as well. But USCJ calling the upset, 45-42 for USC at night. We've seen it happen in 2011. It's kind of got those vibes. I just think, man, this is a different type of year, man. I really do. I think this is a different type of year. I think this is one of the better Oregon teams that we've seen in a while here. And I just think that this is going two different directions. I got a big win. It's going to be fun. Either way, I think it's going to be a fun game. I think it's going to be really fun because this is one that everybody has been anticipating.
No doubt.
All right, USC.
Shout out to you guys. Shout out to your coach, man. I mean, he's doing a phenomenal job, man. They're really putting together incredible staff, man. And Bo Nix is playing some phenomenal football, man.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And I have no doubt that USC, once they get their defense in check, USC's always had an offense. I've been saying the same thing about Oregon. Like, Oregon, they've always had a good offense. It's when that defense can come into hand, that's when they'll really start being a college football playoff team. Because, man, Oregon could always score, but they couldn't, they always had that bend but don't break defense. And I feel like this is a really special Oregon team because, man, we finally got a top 20 defense, man. We finally got a top 10 offense. We got the quarterback. So I feel like this is a special year. I feel like this is something we could do. We have the opportunity to maybe rematch Washington and avenge our loss. 2014, that's kind of what happened with Oregon. We played Arizona at home. We lost. And then we went back to the Pac-12 championship, put it on them, went to the playoff, beat Florida State, went to the national championship, and we lost to Ohio State there. But, and we see these things happen, but it's going to be fun. And we also got a fun week of Pac-12 football, man. I always like to do this towards the end of the podcast here, pick which teams are going to win each game in the Pac-12. Let's just start here. Number 21, Arizona at Colorado. Arizona, they've been pretty much the surprise of the conference, in my opinion. In Colorado, they had all the hype coming in. They're kind of dying down a little bit, but they're at home in this one. I think Arizona, man, I just think they have the better overall team. I think they're gonna do some things up front. I think they have enough to outpace Colorado on the road. I got Arizona in that one.
Man, I like Arizona, man. Jed Fish is doing an incredible job. I kind of noticed it last year. We went toe-to-toe with them, although they got a different quarterback in there. The other quarterback got hurt. But this little freshman that's coming in there this year, man, he is absolutely, man, he's just so, he's doing an incredible job. That defense, though, is like NFL-style defense, man. So Colorado's they're not messing with that, man. I got Arizona.
Brandon Jones says defense will be improved for sure. How much is the question for USC side of things?
That's the $1 million question, man.
100%. And then Matthew Maximus, appreciate you guys for commenting and keeping the engagement going. Appreciate you guys for tuning in here. This is the recruiting bowl for these teams. 100%. This is it, man. We go back and forth on the recruiting trail off the field. Now is the time to put some things on the field and have that recruiting.
Let me ask you something. Do you guys get up more for this game than watching the game? I mean, how do you guys view it as Oregon fans?
So, Oregon fans, I would say the majority of Oregon fans really, really hate Washington. That's a big-time rivalry. But this is, especially, I don't know if you know that account on Twitter, Recruiting Ducks. He's got like 30K. He always talks about Oregon recruits. But he's a big-time hater on USC. My dad actually doesn't like USC a lot. over, because we, especially a lot of people in my generation, have definitely, seen us just beat the hell out of Washington. So we a lot of the hates towards USC, but a lot of like the OG Duck fans that are from the 70s, 80s, and 90s, like they know that Washington's our rival, but USC has definitely became that hated rivalry, especially on the recruiting trail too. The way it's became,
no doubt.
Crazy. I think I'll go to this game too. All right, Matthew. Yeah, try to say what's up, man. Here we go. Brandon Jones says we've had some O-line issues, but those have been corrected. 100%. Arizona, Fafita is the real deal. Yeah, that quarterback, man.
He's no joke.
Yeah, he looks to be the real deal. Fafita reminds me of Vernon Adams. I can see that. Yeah. All right, number 18. Let's keep it going. Number 18, Utah at number 5, Washington. This is probably the game of the week, in my opinion. I'm going to have my eyes on this one. Washington is a tough place to play. I went to that stadium. It gets loud.
Man,
I think they're going to be up there, for this one.
It's crazy, man.
It is loud. So, we've seen the performance of Utah's offense. I don't know if they're going to be able to keep up with Washington. It might be close for a little bit, but I think Washington will pull away at home. I got Washington.
I got Washington as well, man. I just don't see it, especially the fact that it's at in Seattle. I just don't see the Utes putting up enough offense, man, at all.
Yeah, it's been tough for them offensively. Dang Trojan here says USC is a D coordinator away from being great. Hey, I said it. I said it as well.
Absolutely right.
Fan. Yeah,
I know, man.
100%. Yeah, and I said it for Ducks and USC, man. Even with Washington, these teams right here, if they just get a defense, we all know they're going to be able to score. Historically, they've been able to score. Washington, Oregon, USC, whoever has the best defense every single year, that's the key. And especially going to the Big Ten, you're going to need a defense. You're going to need it.
Okay.
All right, so Washington State at Cal here. Cal has been playing some pretty good ball. They've had some tough opponents as of late. Washington State is a dumpster fire. Cal comes back at home. I think they're going to want this win. I think they have blood. They see blood in the water for Washington State coming in. I got Cal here.
Man, I don't know. I don't know what happened to Washington State. I mean, they started off good playing against Oregon State. I thought they were kind of giving you guys. I watched that game. They were kind of giving you guys. They took you guys all the way to the brink last year, and then this year it looked like they were going back and forth. But then it looked like you just had way too much for them. I don't know which team is going to show up. Cam Ward. It seems like he always starts good, but then kind of dies out at the end of the year. So I guess Cal, man. I guess it's at Cal. I'm gonna kind of give it to Cal.
Yeah, I think Cal, losing their last couple games, I think they're going to be hungry for this one. They're at home. And Washington State, man, they're probably – I don't know how much confidence they got going into this one for real. All right, let's go. We got Stanford at number 12, Oregon State. Stanford just came off a big-time surprising win and then Oregon State, they're at home here. I just think Oregon State's a different team at home. I like Oregon State at home.
I like them at home, but you got to remember Washington and Stanford played. I mean, I watched the guy drop a pass, and they were just a pass drop away from actually beating Washington, man. So I don't know which Stanford team is going to show up, but I mean, it's at home. It's hard playing in Corvallis, man. I'm going with Oregon State.
Yeah, I mean, they had Brandon's got us Oregon State at home. Yes, sir, Brandon. Yeah, Oregon State, they're definitely a really good team at home. And Stanford, man, they had Oregon. You're talking about ups and downs. They had Oregon down 6-0 to start that game. So that was definitely surprising. And then all of a sudden, Oregon goes on a 42-0 run. But, you're right. What Stanford team's going to show up? Could they give Oregon State fits? But Oregon State, they got a good O-line. I think they're going to push Stanford around a little bit. Arizona State at UCLA. UCLA's defense is really good, and they're at home. I like UCLA at home here.
I like UCLA at home, but Arizona, I think Arizona just beat UCLA last week. Arizona State, they've been kind of somewhat playing some inspiring ball, but, you got to kind of wonder what team is going to show up, but I'm going to go with UCLA as well.
All right, so that covers it there for the Pac-12 Week 11 Pick'ems. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode as well. If you guys are listening on Spotify, make sure to rate the podcast 5 stars, like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, and go follow my guy USC J32. Where can we find your work, and what's your social media account so everybody can go follow you, man?
No doubt, man. On YouTube, it's going to be USCJ, just the letters USCJ, and then on Instagram, it's going to be and Twitter USCJ32 on both of those platforms. man, Dominiqk, I definitely appreciate it, man. This was fun, man. I definitely appreciate you, man.
Oh yeah, 100%. Appreciate you for coming on. This is our first time meeting each other, first time doing an episode, and with us going to the Big Ten, I got a feeling this won't be the last, man. So this is gonna be fun carrying on into the future. So I appreciate everybody tuning in once again. I'm your host Dominiqk Peterson. This is the DuckZone503 Podcast. We talk all things Oregon football plus Pac-12 next year. We're gonna be talking Big Ten. If you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button. As always, guys, go Ducks. I'll see you guys in the recap. I'll see you guys in the recap and analysis episode on Monday or Sunday. Actually, Sunday. I'll be here Sunday. So Sunday, tune in. I'll be here for the recap analysis episode of this game. Hopefully for an Oregon win. Best of luck, USC J32. Man, it's gonna be a fun game to watch.
No doubt, my man. Hey, once again, I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.